talk about this game because it was a victory. So I'll go ahead and hit the intro and let's get this thing started.
Hey, you're listening to the Suns Jam Session podcast, shooting the shit about the Suns since 2019.
Oh my God, he's back, dude.
I'm so sorry. I'm reading it.
Oh my God.
Don't exit
dude.
out, because if you exit out, then it's over.
Oh my God. All right, he's removed.
Oh.
All right, welcome back, Jamsters and Suns Geek watchers. We want to talk about the Suns' victory tonight. I think we just got to start really quick on this, dude.
Up in the sky! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's...
Boom, boom, motherfucker.
Bobo was actually absolutely incredible tonight. I thought that this was his best game, obviously, as a Phoenix Sun. He did almost hit his career high in points. Starting off early, he had 7 points to really kind of get things going. Him and Nick Richards in the third quarter, I think they had about 18 points between the two of them to start, but it wasn't that much. It was probably about maybe 14, but they were just incredible, man. He really got this Suns team out to a hot start. The floaters, the little touch around the rim, the three-pointers, anything that he wanted tonight, he got, and it was absolutely a beautiful game by Bol Bol. We've talked about him, of course, for the last part of the half of the season since All-Star break because he has been getting starts. Suns Geek, your take really on where they're going with him and how much you just love this dude being in the starting lineup.
Yeah, in a season that has been disappointing, underwhelming, embarrassing, insert word here, Bol Bol has been one of those bright spots. It's a little unfortunate that it took a few months to, play him consistently and start him, but I am just so happy for Bol Bol, man. This guy absolutely deserves it, because if you look at his past teams like the Magic and the Nuggets, he hasn't really had this chance of an opportunity to shine. And I do feel like when he has played consistently, he's played pretty well for the most part. We saw some flashes of it last year with the Phoenix Suns, but yeah, Bol Bol's been playing absolutely great. And we obviously don't know what is going to happen with this franchise in the future. And I think we have Bol Bol's bird rights, if I'm correct. So if there's any bright spot, re-sign Bol Bol. The fans love him. And I truly do believe this when I say it. I don't think Bol Bol's the kind of guy that wants drama and all this stuff surrounding him. So I feel like he really wants to play in Phoenix. I think he's got a good relationship with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. So just re-sign him, play him, start him, and give him his chance to shine, man. He was fantastic tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he really shined for us tonight, and I feel like the team kind of fed off of that. I mean, obviously, a lot of stuff he had was really wide open, but the fact that he could just kind of knock it down from all over the floor and get this team out to a hot start, having 17 first-half points and only the one turnover, which is really nice. Even the one turnover that was taken away from him in the corner, it kind of seemed like maybe it was a foul. But he's doing a good job handling the ball. But EJ did bring up a good point at the end of the game. The 25 points are nice, almost a career high, but you want to see him kind of do more too, right? Rebounding, boxing out, and stuff like that you want, obviously, out of a big. So do you think, though, moving forward, that's going to kind of hurt him a little bit? Because he is a good scorer when he gets hot. The fans love him, even when he misses a shot. But the fact that he can't do too much else, he had some nice passes tonight, a couple assists. But do you think he needs to expand his game upon this to really get real legit minutes in the future for an actual winning team?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I feel like Bol Bol knows that. He's still a young player. I think sometimes even I forget about that. He is still very young. But, I mean, Eddie Johnson was absolutely right, and they were talking about it on the broadcast. It's just developing that all-around game. But tonight was a good preview of developing that all-around game. And I think Bol Bol knows that. He just needs to just put it all together, because then we'll really see what kind of a player Bol Bol is. But this is a step in the right direction for sure.
Yeah, and your thoughts, too, about the way that the game kind of ended, where it was a blowout. Obviously, we're up by 20, the majority of the game, almost reached 30. I think their highest lead was 29 points. The Pelicans obviously didn't lead the whole game. The fact that we didn't see too much from Kevin Durant, he did start off the game hot with 9 points, but he was only 7 for 10 today, and he played the 35 minutes. But it seemed like there wasn't a whole lot of focus on him tonight. So I think it's kind of nice to have a guy like him, and of course Nick Richards we'll talk about in a little bit, that can kind of step up and take a lot of pressure off of those guys, especially the superstars that we have on this team. Kevin Durant, though, you think he's okay with that? We'll talk about him in a little bit, but you think he's all right with kind of Bol stepping up and being, a hot shot tonight? You don't think it's gonna bruise his ego at all?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
Okay.
I truly do believe that Bol and Kevin Durant have a good relationship. So anytime that Kevin Durant can actually, rest in the fourth quarter and take it easy and watch his other players help win basketball games, Kevin Durant will not complain about that. I think he's going to be very happy about that. And again, man, shout out to Bol for allowing that to happen. Same thing with Devin Booker, who I'm sure we're going to talk about later. Like, they actually got to rest tonight for a little bit because clearly we can't close out games. We haven't been able to do much resting in the fourth quarter this whole season.
Yeah, it's funny, though, because they kind of played to like the 3-minute mark. And I think a lot of it had to do with, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe just them kind of finding a focus on finishing the game, but also just kind of getting used to winning. Just kind of having that feeling of like, hey, maybe we're back in a way where we can kind of come into a game where it's hard to beat a team twice in a row.
Yeah.
To come in and take over a team in the Pelicans that you should beat with the roster that we do have. So do you think that the extended minutes, even though 35, 36 minutes from Kevin Durant and Devin Booker here, but I mean, in a typical season, in a season where maybe we are a 4 seed or a 5 seed, and we're winning by 20 or almost 30 at certain times, do you think that they even played the fourth quarter? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they weren't even really a part of the success when it came to scoring. So I think a lot of that from Bud was maybe just kind of playing them just to kind of get the right mindset of winning again. Do you think?
Yeah, I hope this answers what you were trying to say, but I think the Suns as a team, as a franchise, sort of needed a game like this, what I like to call sort of a tune-up game. Like, I know the season has been disastrous, yada, 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 embarrassing, but sometimes you need these games where you pretty much blow out the other team. We had 40 points in the first quarter, dude. You know what I mean? So even if it was playing KD and all of them to like the 3-minute mark-ish, it's like, you need sometimes those tune-up games. And even though I barely have any optimism, any positivity left, maybe this tune-up game is what will sort of give us some confidence and hope headed into the rest of this season, man. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, no, it's a perfect response.
Vicky, the great Nick Richards. Richard means Dick, that's why he's Vicky, the great Nick Richards.
Nick Richards was pretty much unstoppable in the paint tonight. He did have 8 shots made out of 11 attempts, 3 of 4 from the free throw line. He had 12 total rebounds, 2 assists, and he had the 19 points. Him and Bol really to start the second half. I think they had the first 9 points, not the first 18 points of the quarter, but the first 9 points. They were sharing the ball with each other. It looked really good. A lot of clean looks at the rim, obviously some easy dunks, but a lot of alley-oops to go around. Nick Richards has been playing a little bit better as of late. You saw a little bit maybe of more of a dog in him tonight, kind of just screaming a little bit, kind of talking some shit, kind of talking to the rest a little bit more. So he seems to be a little bit more intrigued. So I know the attitude of the team has not been great, but you saw tonight in Nick Richards, he seemed like he was there to play, there to show out like a lot of the guys tonight. But it's nice to have this game because you know that for moving forward, like we're going to have to count on him to be that center, the starting center of this league, or this team, where he's going to have to show out where he can be more athletic, more, dominant when he's finishing around the rim. And you saw that tonight, right? I mean, it was good game by him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Probably one of, if not his best games ever since he joined the Phoenix Suns. And like you said, he has been playing better as of late. And if the Phoenix Suns are going to have any chance of making the play-in tournament and any chance of, advancing to the playoffs in the first round, they're going to need Nick Richards, man. He is our enforcer out there. And maybe we need a little bit more of that, like, the screaming on the court and that toughness. Like, maybe that's something that is going to fire up the Phoenix Suns as a team in general. But Nick Richards was incredible, man. Sort of had a few good moments with Bol because we obviously just got done talking about him. But, yeah, Nick Richards is great, man. And even though I was a little critical when we first traded for him, like I remember I said Nick Richards isn't going to save the Suns. there's times where he sort of proves me
Yeah.
wrong. He does
didn't.
save the Suns, man. But I
Yeah.
know,
Oh
right?
yeah.
But no, he's good, man. And if I remember correctly, like I think we got him for at least another year or two. So this is the kind of guy that you want to keep, not necessarily build around, but he is one of those players you can add to the building of the future of this team. And I really like Nick Richards, man. He had a great game.
Yeah, and if he wants to be back up maybe next year, I mean, that's more than welcome. He doesn't make too much. But
good
the Suns.
contract.
Yeah, and like I want to get your thoughts too. Really quick, just kind of going away from the game a little bit. I saw a comment. Never mind.
That was okay.
The fact that they're gonna get, probably just snubbed. I wouldn't say snubbed, but they're gonna get kicked out from the play-in tournament. Like they're not actually not gonna really have a chance. I feel like this season because currently they are number 11. They are 3 games back of that play-in
Sacramento
spot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking, the only way really to get in because you have the Mavericks who might have Anthony Davis back, but they still play okay without him. They'll probably finish in the play-in. You have the Minnesota Timberwolves who are kind of finding their footing, playing a little bit better defensively. Golden State, obviously with Jimmy Butler, I think they're 7-1 now with him. So the only team, it's the Sacramento Kings. That's the one team that the Phoenix Suns can't keep up with in terms of just kind of seeding wise. Do you think they have a chance? Because Sacramento right now, they're not great, but they do just enough to win these games. And they're obviously, I feel like, going to finish above 500 for the rest of the year. Do the Suns even have a chance to catch up now? Because we won one game, and I knew this was going to happen. As soon as we win one game, I'm going to be a little bit more excited and just think like, oh, maybe they can pull through. So the first question is, do you think they have a chance? Second is, do you even care?
I always care because I will watch and support this team and love this team and make videos about this team, whether we win all 82 games or lose all 82 games. It's Suns for life. It's in my DNA. But I think if for some reason they don't make the play-in tournament, which would be absolutely insane if they don't do it, it's most likely because of this recent stretch where we went 2-10. I think not the New Orleans Pelicans. I think the Hornets had like 2 more losses than us during that stretch. You know what I mean? It was those sort of give me games that we needed to win, like last night, for example, that we didn't win. That will cost us the play-in tournament. But, there's still like 20-something games or 19 games left or whatever.
Yeah.
It still is possible. But unfortunately, the Phoenix Suns have a very, very tough schedule and it's going to be insane. But yeah, I'm just fingers crossed, man. Win as many games as you can. Hopefully make the play-in tournament. And after we're out, the Suns front office and Matt Ishbia and company, they're going to have some very, very tough decisions to make, man.
Yeah, definitely. David Ray says there's 22 games left. It seems like a lot. It does. It's just when I look at the Kings, they have a lot of firepower there. They seem at least more in sync. We're going to get into the comments, obviously, that were released about, what's going on in back rooms of the arena. But we're not looking or hearing any because you can't figure out really what's wrong with this team, right? You're going to hear little snippets here or there. Obviously, that's going to be leaked. We'll get into that in a little bit. I do want to talk more about the game, but we will start with Kevin Durant.
Who the heck are you?
I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am. Y'all know who I am.
Did anybody see a sniper? Did anybody see anything?
I'm one of the best players to ever play the game.
So Kevin Durant, 17 points. I think it's like his 3rd lowest this year. He has 6 assists, 2 turnovers. So he didn't really contribute as much. He only had the 10 shot attempts. Obviously, there's a lot of the young guys stepping up in Bol. Nick Richards, who's 27 years old. I would say he's a young guy. We had Gillespie in there that looked pretty fucking awesome. We'll talk about him. Ryan Dunn came in and looked great at times. So the young guys in there looked awesome. Kevin Durant, though, he kind of took a back step or a back seat, excuse me, not a back step. He's still tremendous. And he never would ever do that. But a back seat.
Don't forget about it, Suns fans. Kevin Durant is still tremendous.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he is. He's great. But yeah, your thoughts on him kind of taking a back seat and just how this might just kind of hurt him in a way, or is this just kind of the way that Bud wants to look at things, kind of spread the ball more, open things up, and then Kevin Durant and Booker can kind of do their thing to seal things? You like to look at that?
I'm gonna just
Yeah.
pretty much carry on with what you said at the very end there. Like, this is fine, man. Like, let the younger guys cook, let the other guys cook. And like you said, it gives like Mike Budenholzer and his offense and the coaching staff to sort of see what these other guys can do. And if it came down to it, Devin Booker and Kevin Durant can step up and close out the game. It's really that simple, man. I mean, obviously a kind of quote quiet night, 17-6 for Kevin Durant might look a little strange on paper, but like it was a back-to-back. Obviously, we've been struggling and everything. It's just one of those nights where Kevin Durant sort of got to take a break, but we all knew if we absolutely would have blown our lead, Kevin Durant would have stepped up and brought us home. So I think it's okay. I don't think this is going to affect Kevin Durant. I don't think there's anything going on with Kevin Durant. Oh my gosh, like all these rumors. No, like we won a basketball game and we actually won as a team. That's the biggest takeaway. And I don't care what anybody says, man. That's all that Kevin Durant wants. Kevin Durant just wants to win basketball games and compete for a championship, man. But unfortunately, all season long, we haven't done that.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'm really a conspiracy guy. I agree with everything you're saying there. I'll start with Keith Nettles. The KD body language not ideal. So I don't think the body language is
body language police.
Yep, that's what I am too. I just noticed he wasn't really as interactive with everyone else. It seemed like he was kind of distant in a way. All right. So this is just conspiracy me. All right. I'm just going to throw this stuff out there. So, the things we're talked about behind the scenes about Bud telling Book to kind of quiet things down in the huddle or quiet things down, just lower the tone. Right. That's what Bud said. Supposedly he was asked about that before the game. He didn't really comment on it. He just said that him and Book have good conversation. There's a lot going on, obviously, between those two constantly. So how would he even probably remember that shit? Now, Booker, after last game, was a little upset. He was a little vicious in a way that Book can be when he's usually quiet. But he actually came out and was just like, there should have been a line cross, or we should have had that line cross a while ago, right? It's kind of been too late into the season for this team to kind of get to a point to where they're losing and they're going to miss out on the playoffs, right? But he says that he likes to talk. So I'm thinking, and I texted this to John earlier, I think, you're probably going to hate me, but I think Kevin Durant mentioned like, hey, can Book chill out a little bit? And maybe that's why Bud kind of brought it up. Maybe he brought it up for that reason to kind of help KD out, maybe to tell Book to chill out just a little bit. Come on, let everybody more involved, because the way the Suns came out tonight and stuff, to look as much of a team as they have all year, and KD just kind of looks separated, he did kind of look a little bit butthurt. But that's just conspiracy me. We'll see how the rest of the season goes. I just think that, he's a guy that gets into his feelings at times. And I think maybe Book's too much for him because I don't see those two interacting ever anymore. You know what? This season after started losing. So I don't know. I think it's a great win, obviously, but maybe Kevin Durant does have to adjust in a different way he's not comfortable with, and maybe they push him into that direction. So we'll see how things go the rest of the season. So your thoughts on that? Am I correct? Did I solve the murder mystery there?
I mean, you're not correct, but like you're not wrong either. I'm just a big believer, and this goes for a lot of things, but mainly in sports and basketball in general. I'm just a big believer, and we don't know what happens behind the scenes, behind closed doors. Because yes, there's a lot of people that have sources and connections and all that stuff, but like still, there are actual closed doors that we do not see. Now, I do believe that the meetings and conversations did happen because Mike Budenholzer pretty much said it without saying it. Like, I have his quote in front of me, and some of the biggest takeaways from that quote are, I think it's super healthy. So one, that tells me that they had it. But then two, he said, I have these conversations with Devin Booker all the time. I'm good with those conversations. We don't always agree on everything. So clearly that conversation happened. But again, stuff happens behind the scenes. Kevin Durant, when he's on the court, dude, he's just locked in and focused, man. I know that a lot of Phoenix Suns fans miss the vibes and they miss Mikal Bridges and all that and the dances and the handshakes. Kevin Durant, I mean, maybe besides with Russell Westbrook and a few others, he doesn't really do that, and he is older. I'm like, I think him and Booker are fine. I don't think there's any bad blood. And I know I'm kind of going all over the place with my answer here, but with Devin Booker, man, if the reports are true about him being like super vocal and Budenholzer told him to tune it down or whatever, I think that's good, man. Like, Booker should be talking and yapping his ass off, especially with how terrible this season has gone. Maybe that's what we need. We sort of need that like fire and that spark. And again, we don't know what was said. We're not there in practices, because I do want to remind fans that media is only let in after practice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they don't get to see everything either. So, and again, I know my answer's all over the place here, but clearly there was a conversation that was had. Maybe Devin Booker needs to tune it down a little bit, but maybe Kevin Durant needs to speak up too. Like, I don't know. I'm all over the place with my answer, but
No, yeah.
hey, at least there's some communication going on, and at least Budenholzer didn't lie or deny it. Budenholzer could have been like, oh, well, he could have done the whole James Jones thing where he's like, we keep things internal. We're not going to talk about that. No, like Budenholzer actually like answered it for the most part. I don't really know if that answers your question, but you know.
Yeah, no, it actually does, because we can't answer. We don't have any answers for this team right now. We're all over the place. I think that's why everyone's kind of searching, like on Twitter. It gets nasty out there. It does. Everyone's blaming everybody. Everybody wants everyone's head, and everything's just kind of blowing itself up over there. That's why I'm done with it, obviously. And that's why it's kind of like, when I look at this team struggling and stuff, I think I, like everybody else, is looking for a scapegoat, right? Mine was originally, it was Kevin Durant. I wanted him traded and all that stuff. Obviously, you were on the pod where I kind of went off and all that stuff. I had a hat off, so I don't know if did you know that was me?
Yeah, I remember that.
On there? Okay, because I was bald, so I didn't know if you knew that was me. But I was really in favor of just getting rid of him, obviously, and I'm talking about it 2 nights in a row. But we won't talk too much about it. I think this team obviously has something there that we'll never find out till later on. Nothing will be leaked. Nothing will be said probably till later, maybe in another couple weeks, because right now things are trickling out. You have ESPN, Brian Windhorst is always going to talk about Kevin Durant will not be his son. He's going to be traded. That's what it's looking like. We're going to hear things about what's going on with Bud and the staff and the coaches, and also the players, like what's going on between them all, right? What's actually being said. And it's like, who's really pulling all this? Who's throwing this stuff out there? Like, who's having Chris Haynes release these reports? To me, I think it's Katie. And I'll just leave it at that. Sorry. I think that it's going to suck, because we're going to have to probably get rid of Coach Bud. Are you in favor with getting rid of Coach Bud? Or are you just kind of like, let's ride this out, see how we finish the season? And if we obviously don't make the play-in, fire him? Or else are you like, let's just try another season with him?
Well, I will say this. If we would have lost tonight's game, and I'm not somebody that tries to stir up craziness or drama or whatever, but I truly do believe if we would have lost tonight's game, I think Phoenix would have probably rioted. And I'm not even joking. That's how bad it would have been if we would have lost tonight. And if we would have lost tonight, I probably would have given you a different answer.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like, oh, we lose our next game, Budenholzer isn't going to get fired. But like, if we specifically would have lost this game, you know what I mean? Yeah. But in general, I don't, and I know fans are probably going to kill me for this, and they're probably going to unsubscribe from my channel. Don't unsubscribe to the Suns Jam. Subscribe to them because they're awesome. But I'm one of those people, man. I don't think we should fire Bud yet. I don't think so. Because again, like you said, we have to kind of finish this season out. Let's just see what happens. Because even though it's dark and gloom right now, and the Suns community is full of, it's toxic and it's drama and all this stuff, let's just see what happens. We got 22 games left. We can still make the play-in tournament, yada, yada, yada. And, maybe some other people need to lose their jobs. I've been saying for a while, even back when we had Frank Vogel, that maybe James Jones needs to be on the hot seat. Maybe James Jones needs to lose his job. Now, I don't wish for anybody to lose their job, but this is basketball. This is a business. He has not delivered us a championship yet. Maybe we need a bright, new, fresh mind in the front office. But I just don't think right now, as of February 28th, 2025, I don't think right now firing the coach is going to solve anything. Because everybody was like, fire Frank Vogel this, Frank Vogel that. And now I'm seeing some of those people saying, man, we should have kept Frank Vogel. Because was last season really that bad? And I've even seen people wanting Monty Williams back. I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, firing Budenholzer right now is not going to solve anything. Like, I feel like that would just be taking a step back. Yes, Budenholzer should be blamed for a lot of the Phoenix Suns' troubles this year. But at the end of the day, guys, he's not out there playing. Just saying, man, I don't think firing Budenholzer is the right idea or the right decision as of right now.
Yeah, I didn't think it was either, but I thought they would fire him. I think if they would have lost tonight, it would have been over.
Yeah.
That's why this team,
again,
we'd
we'd probably be having a different conversation if they would have lost tonight.
They came out and they were fighting for their coach's job in a way. Obviously, they want to win a game, but they know what's being said, right? If this team were to actually come out, put up another stinker, and lose by 10 plus points, maybe to this team, then yeah, he's done. It's over. But let's get to a little bit more positive part of the show.
Tell me something good. Tell me something good.
Yeah, so I want to ask you, is there something that's good? Obviously, Bobo was amazing tonight, but besides Bobo, was there something else that you want to bring up on this pod that really got your dinky twitching a little bit? What was I saying?
I don't know if you have a drop for him yet. I probably should know this, but I don't. But Colin Gillespie, man.
Yes, that's my guy. Yep.
Do you guys have a drop?
Nope, but he should get one soon, and he should continue to see minutes. But yeah, what did you see from him, man?
Well, man, it just seems like he may not always put up like the best.
Oh, wait, 1 second.
Oh.
I think your mic, it sounds a little different. It sounds really muffled. I'm sorry. It sounds like a transformer. I don't know why it sometimes does that. Let's see if it works now, maybe. Oh, no, I can't hear. Hold on. Yes, David Ray said audio is weird, but we'll come back to you on that. Just start talking as soon as. Well, we will talk about Colin Gillespie. So until Sunsgeek gets back on with his audio, I'm just going to go ahead and just take over a little bit, Sunsgeek, till you come back. But I really like what I see from him. This guy obviously has the demeanor you want, a point guard, a guy that does not give a shit. He definitely has big balls. It wasn't plugged in, right? Is that what's going on? Oh, is it? He's just a guy that has attitude out there, man. He's a guy that pushes the ball into the paint. He's someone that will come in and just kind of take over the offense, and that's what you want. To end the first quarter, he came in to finish, and I think the 2 assists that he had were absolutely beautiful. He had a bad pass, though, to start the second quarter when he did come back in to start the second after finishing the first. It was one thing where I was like, let me watch this bad pass and just see how the rest of the game kind of goes for him and see if they put him back in. They did. Obviously, a lot of it was in garbage time, but the answer is this guy is just, there's something about him, and I think he's going to continue to get minutes and minutes and minutes. Not to say that he's going to take over Tyus Jones minutes or anything like that, but he will kind of creep in there. He's a guy that can manage the offense. So Sunsgeek's back. Let's see if he sounds okay.
Check.
Yep, you sound beautiful.
Cool. Yeah, sorry, I don't know what happened, man. If that does happen again, I have my phone on standby, ready to go. So if I cut out again,
we'll probably be like 10 more minutes. So
cool. Yeah. So I heard some of what you said, but I was just gonna say again, he may not always put up the numbers, but this is a guy that's been in and out of the G League. And don't forget, even though he was like injured, he won a championship with that 23 Denver Nuggets team. That's got to be worth something. You know what I mean? But he just always seems like he's in control for the most part. I mean, I'm sure you read the stats, but 9 points, 4 assists, and 18 minutes, dude. Like, he just produces out there. And you gotta assume, not even assume, you got to believe that he's learning a lot from a lot of these players on this team, and they keep calling him up for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, I just think he's getting more experience. And that's why I don't mind players going to the G League, dude. Like, you learn so much, you know, in the G League. Like, you heard John at the very start of the show and our last show before we got cut off. Like, these G League players play hard, dude. Like, G League basketball is fun. Like, I encourage a lot of people out there, watch a G League game. You can go on YouTube right now and watch a ton of G League games. So Colin Gillespie playing, you know what we assume would have been a championship team, but playing with like Kevin Durant and Devin Booker and all them, he's got to be learning a lot, dude.
I think so too, but he has the right attitude, I think, to really come and just prove himself. It's been multiple games where I'm like, all right, let me just continue to see what he has. And I love a guy that can kind of just keep the dribble alive, push it in the paint, keep getting to the rim, and just pass an addition. He had some nice dish in the second quarter after he did turn the ball over, got the ball back. Nice dish to Plumlee in the paint, and I don't think Plumlee was really expecting it. He had a little hook shot. He missed it. But that pass, I don't think we've seen that from a player this year because we haven't had that kind of point guard to kind of move the ball in and do that. I know obviously Bobo had a nice pass, an entry pass to Nick Richards.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that we saw that tonight, and then we had the Colin Gillespie tonight with the passing, there's a lot to look forward to, obviously, and obviously getting a win is really nice. But the fact that we're seeing a lot from the younger guys, I think that was what we're most looking forward to the rest of the year, is to kind of see what we have from these guys. And that's exciting because when it leads to victories, then you're going to have to talk about it in a way that's like, oh, maybe this team has a way to come back, right? But obviously for the future and the G League and the Valley Suns, something that we just don't care about because we have Kevin Durant and Booker and we want to win now. But we're kind of just drifting off to that side where we're just like, okay, let's enjoy these young dudes and trust them with the ball. Let's not trust KD and Book as much. You know what I mean? Like, obviously they're not getting it done. They're not winning these games. So let's see what we have from other guys.
And it feels good that we actually have a G League team too. Sorry to cut you off, but it really feels good that we have a G League team so close to us to where we can be like, hey, Oso, we need you to go down for a couple of games, but don't get too comfortable because we're going to bring you back in a week, you know, instead of like him having to fly to another state. You know what I mean? Like he's it's in Tempe, right? Like,
it's at ASU. Yep. It's where the Coyotes were playing before. They're not the Phoenix Coyotes, Arizona Coyotes.
RIP to the Arizona Coyotes.
Yep. All right. I think we already know the answer, but let's do it anyways.
Jam Star of the Game.
Jam Star of the Game tonight is brought to you by Suns Geek and brought to you by John in Tempe, shutting down the show early. And everyone knows I'm a businessman. I'm on a time crunch. After this, I have another meeting, so we can't go as long as we want. So I think the fact that, you know, John screwed this up, he's not the Jam Star. And I'm going to give it to, of course, Bobo. You agree, right?
Yeah, Bobo 100%. And real quick, I know fans are probably mad that, you know, Mike Budenholzer kind of, quote, froze him out and he didn't get to pass his career high. I get it, but come on, man. Bol had a great game as a Phoenix Sun. Can we not like complain about something for once and just be happy for Bol, man? Come on.
Yeah, and I love the fact that Gillespie was in and he was still taking shots. I think he had 3 or 4 shots taken, even though Bol was scoring almost a career high. But he's like, I don't care. I'm going to score. Like, I don't really give a, you know what I mean? Like, that was awesome from Gillespie's standpoint. It's like, I want that kind of attitude on this team where it's like, I'm not going to give it to Bol to get his career high. He can get it later on. Like, I don't get minutes.
Exactly.
I want to show off my shooting skills. So that was nice to see. Obviously, everyone in the chat, Keith Nettle says Bol. Suns Speak Radio 3, Bol. So also to Bol is the Jam Star, Mark N, Bol, David Ray, Bol, obviously. Yeah, so everyone definitely agrees. This game was obviously a fun watch. Did you have any other notes from the game that you want to go over?
Just glad that we won, man. And I know I might sound like I'm alone on this, but just win as many games as you possibly can. Try to get into the playoffs. And I know I said it on this show, and I know I said it on my show, but this offseason, man, we're going to be on pins and needles, dude. It's not even about the KD stuff, man. It's just like we don't know what is going to happen with this franchise, man. It's going to be nuts. But I hope that Matt Ishbia and all them can surprise us and really get the hope back, you know, with Phoenix Suns fans. So just win as many games as possible, man.
Yeah, I totally agree. This team is headed towards an unknown future. So another win is nice. 3 games, like I said, back of the play-in. I don't believe they can make it because the Kings will win games. They're not going to forfeit the season. They're going to want to make the play-in. But yeah, Suns Geek, thank you for joining. Everyone do like, subscribe. Make sure to pass this on to your friends. And I hope everyone has a good night. Anything else before we head out?
Yeah, thank you, Matthew, for inviting me, man, because I was supposed to do like this sort of open mic thing with our friend Boyd from the Aussie Suns.
I saw that, yeah.
But due to, you know, the time differences, and I was a little busy as well, we are going to do it sometime this weekend or week, but just, you know, real life happens and we get busy. And again, a 17-hour time difference is no joke. We will do it, but thank you, Matthew, because like I said, I was going to go live and you allowed me to go live twice technically on my channel, and it's all because of you, man. So you're the Jam Star of the game. I appreciate you working with me and allowing me to do this with you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thanks again, man. And thanks to Drunk John for the 2 episodes. So everyone, make sure to go home and love your
Podcast, shooting the shit about the Suns since 2019.